Hello, this is the Buff Shaman, and I'm going to be doing another movie review. This time I'm going to be doing Friday the 13th Part 1. I'm going to be doing all four. Not getting any, there we go, maybe a little bit here. I got the 4-pack collection of Friday the 13th here, parts 1 through 4. I'm going to be doing my review of the first movie. Now, the first movie in this series is my favorite, and I was pretty young when I started watching Friday the 13th. And in fact, I was 7 years old. How appropriate that when I was 7 years old, my first Friday the 13th movie, Friday the 13th Part 7. Now, this is not my first horror movie. My first horror movie was A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. Yes, 4. But anyways, I snuck up and watched the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 when I was about 4 years old, and I watched the entire movie and didn't have a problem with nightmares, and I grew to love horror movies from that point until, I'd say about 3 or 4 years ago. And then my interest in horror movies has kind of dwindled. I still hold the place in my heart for the ones I know, the favorites that I have, the Friday the 13th, the Pumpkinheads, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, and the various other, uh, franchises that I've come to love. And some of the one-offs, even some of the ones that weren't great, like I liked Troll 2. I did. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I liked it, but I didn't like it a huge amount. I liked it because, in my opinion, it wasn't really a horror movie. I took it as sort of making fun of the first movie, and on that level, I liked it. But um, I'm getting way off track, sidetracked here. Friday the 13th Part 1. Now, I'm assuming most of you have seen this, and if you haven't, I'm sorry. Spoilers from here on. If you don't want to hear the plot, get out now and get out from under your rock and go watch the first movie. But a bunch of camp counselors are opening up a camp that had been closed down due to strange deaths following the drowning death of a young boy, Jason Voorhees. And it goes through the movie basically killing off these counselors, one by one, and you eventually find out that the killer is in fact the mother of the drowned boy, Jason, and he's not alive, but there's kind of this debate going on whether or not, as she's going crazy, if you will, whether or not she's actually crazy or whether or not she's channeling the spirit of her deceased son. I like to think of it as the first one, but in the context of the other movies, I tend to think of it as the second. No, only in the context of the other movies. The reason I liked this movie is it was the first one of these that actually surprised me. I was not expecting the twist ending. I was not expecting most of the movie the way it was. It was a different style. Um, there was a bit of blood, but it wasn't over the top gory. It wasn't really as bad as its reputation has made it out to be, and it wasn't as bad as the ones that came after it by any means. And the whole idea, a lot of its criticism came from the idea that there was a misogynistic killer stalking girls, but it wasn't a misogynistic character. It was a mother, and it was honestly one of those movie villains that you felt sorry for the killer as much as you did the victims. And that's really why I think when you get right down to it, why it is my favorite of them. You really felt for Pamela Voorhees. Here she was trying to protect children, and even though misguided, still not terrible as a motive. Not terrible as a motive at all. And I'm going to give this star, and especially for the fact that it was meant to be a ripoff film and did so well. It was meant to be a ripoff of Halloween. Sean Cunningham has admitted as much. It stood on its own 2 feet. It really did. And for that reason, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Lacking that half a star simply because of the fact that it was meant to be a ripoff. And other than that, great movie, great classic horror movie, and I would highly recommend picking this up. And please let me know what you think yourselves. Make a comment below, and like and subscribe. Thank you.